Welcome back to SecurityCompliance.io's CMMC Assessment Guidance series, powered by Intersec Inc. In this video, we will continue to discuss the CMMC domains and their individual practices, as well as break down information for each of them to better your understanding of their requirements. If you are preparing for CMMC certification and would like to learn how C3PAOs will assess your CMMC Level 1 compliance, this video is for you. Let's move forward. Today, we will be continuing our discussion into the next domain, physical protection. As you can see on the screen, physical protection has a total of 4 practices, with the CMMC standard defining one capability for physical protection, which is to limit physical access. Today, we're going to be focusing on the first practice, PE.1.131, which is about limiting access to organizational systems to only authorized users. Let us begin by discussing the domain, physical protection, from the source point of view, NIST 800-171. The requirement is going to apply to both employees and visitors. Anyone that's authorized to access something should have credentials like badges, identification cards, or smart cards. The focus is also going to be on organizational systems, which can be specifically accessed by the public. Remember, organizations can determine the strength of the authorization credentials, and they should be consistent with the applicable laws, directives, policies, regulations, standards, procedures, and guidelines respective to your organization. Switching gears to the CMMC side of things, an organization needs to limit physical access to equipment areas deemed non-public. That means you have to establish what is public and what is non-public so you can limit that physical access. To limit that physical access, you must use physical barriers such as locks or checkpoints to restrict access only to authorized individuals. Now that we've discussed what the definitions are for physical protection and the first practice, let's go over an example to see it in action. You manage a DoD project that requires special equipment used only by project team members. You work with the facility managers to put locks on the doors to the areas where the equipment is stored and used. Project team members are the only individuals issued with keys to the space. This restricts access to only the employees who work on the DoD project and require access to that equipment. Before we move on, take a second and think, what would this mean for your own organization? To answer that question, let's go over this implementation. You identify the areas of your company that are meant to be public and private. You implement locks to ensure that the access to private areas is restricted to the public. You continually check on the locks to ensure that they are still in good condition. Your computers that have important organizational information are password protected and locked when not being used. Equipment, like servers or hardware, is properly located and secured in the private areas of your organization. This is a great place to start to get this practice implemented. Now that we've talked a little bit about physical protection and the first practice, let's go ahead and do a little knowledge check to see where your understanding is of it. A contractor you worked with for a project was given access to an area of your company that has sensitive information. They said they lost the key you gave them. What would you do? Take a look at the options and answer it before I go ahead and give you the answer. That's right. You would change the locks to the area and issue new keys. Let's move forward. For PE.1.131, the assessment objectives are 1. Authorized individuals allowed physical access are identified. 2. Physical access to equipment is limited to authorized individuals. And 3. Physical access to operating environments is limited to authorized individuals. As always, the assessment objects are going to be the same across the board for all practices. Take a second to pause if you'd like to look. Otherwise, we are moving on. Coming into an important part of our discussion. When it comes time to being assessed, a C3PAO may examine one or more of the following artifacts for your specific organization. Making sure you understand and acknowledge these is going to be vital, so let's go ahead and go over them to get a better understanding of them. For the examine method, they might look at your physical and environmental protection policy, your authorized personal access list, or your authorization credentials. For the interview, they might look for personnel with physical access authorization responsibilities, or personnel with physical access to system facility to interview them. And for the inspect method, they might look at your organizational processes for physical access authorizations. Though, keep in mind that this list or more could be looked at for each of these methods. Here are some references to other security standards that are related to PE.131. They are mapped so you can see how your existing standards match up to CMMC. And there we have it. If you'd like to continue to learn about CMMC in depth, Check out some of the resources we've listed on the screen, and they're also in the description below. Intersec is going to continually post educational content, so take a look at our blogs and join our mailing list if you'd like to learn more about CMMC itself. A great way to keep up to date on CMMC and any relevant updates and changes is to join our mailing list at intersecinc.com/contact us. But the best way to prepare for CMMC certifications besides watching these videos is to practice, and that can only be done by taking action now. We provide a platform where you can take action and generate a free gap analysis report, as well as perform a CMMC Level 1 self-assessment for free at www.securitycompliance.io. Highly encourage you to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe for more content if you would like to see more CMMC educational content from us. Turn on post notifications as well so you can see the next time we post. That's it. Thanks for watching.